jewelry makers. I'm Joey Balistreri, and I have exciting news. Sparkling snowfall has landed in Florida. Of course, I'm being silly. I'm just really excited because yesterday, late in the afternoon, my bargain bead box for the month of December was in the mailbox, and it is one of my very favorite days of the month. So, this is the list of the things that are in the box. This month's box was a retail value of $83.82, and it is stunning. So it came in this beautiful little organza bag, which Bargain Bead Box even curates everything to match and then puts it in a bag that gives you the same vibe as your collection. It's really nice. And then you can always use this for gifting if you make something that you're going to give away. But I've unboxed everything to save a little bit of time because honestly, as I was unboxing, the projects were coming to mind. I have three great ideas that these beads are perfect for. So I'm just going to go through quickly and mention my favorites. I actually, this is a new bead for me. This was called Tiger Iron, and it is a 10 millimeter. It's really beautiful. I have never had any of this before, but I really love it. It's really gorgeous. And then this, I love these teardrop with the Aurora Borealis. This was the only thing that didn't have a label on the bag. It is a glass top drilled teardrop crystal AB. It didn't, oh yes, it's 13 by 9 millimeter, but they are stunning. I love those. And then this is an old favorite of mine. This is, they're calling it moonstone, the glass rounds, but we also call it mermaid glass. And this is the most beautiful 6 millimeter. Is it 6 or 5 millimeter? It's 6 millimeter. So that is just beautiful. And I will definitely be using that in my project. And then we had these beautiful snowflake shaped man-made hematite beads. They are also really sweet. And we got some little 6 millimeter bead caps, and we got stainless steel curb chain in this box. And I love these toggle clasps. Look at the beautiful shape on these toggles. And we got 4 sets in this box. And I love this. Now they are calling this stainless steel laser cut triple snowflake connector, but it has a little bit of a curve to it. So I see a bracelet bar, a really petite, delicate bracelet is going to happen for me with that one. And then we got these beautiful 2 different sets of snowflake charms. And I love them both. This one is a charm. I'm sorry. This one is a charm. This one is a connector with a hole at the top and bottom of each one. And I love those, but these are my favorites. They are 2-sided. They are laser cut. They are textured on both sides, and they are just absolutely adorable. So I think I will definitely be doing something with those. And this is probably my favorite thing in the box. I have had this shape in other colors, but this is a crystal faceted twist bead, and it's in a slate blue iris. And I just think they are stunning. So that's going to happen in my very first project with this box. And I love these too. This is London blue agate, and I just love all the colors of this. It's very denim friendly to me. But also we got these beautiful 3 millimeter apatite faceted beads. And I always see minimalist jewelry, and I love to play with bar jewelry, as you know, if you've watched any of my other videos. And so I have a really great idea for this. And I'm actually glad that we got some little 4 millimeter AB bicone beads, because for my first project, these are going to really come in handy to finish off the ends of what my design that I'm thinking of. And these are really unusual. I've never seen these before. I don't have any in my stash. They are teal coated. They're calling it a fan pendant, but it's just a really chic, elegant shape. I love these two. I don't know if the color is coming across, but it matches really well with the moonstone beads. So I love this box. And we even got one of these classic teardrop pendants, and it is a 39 millimeter apatite. And so, everyone's will look a little bit different because it is natural stone, but I absolutely love mine. Again, really a denim friendly, with a jeans jacket or a white t-shirt and jeans, a necklace done with this would be really fun. And I've had an idea for a long time. I don't know if it's going to work, but I actually want to do something with mine, maybe upside down. So if I can make that work, I'll do a video on that. But I also really love these little spacers. They're very plain, smooth, rondelle shaped spacers, and I love them. Again, this is the shape and the vibe for very minimalistic jewelry, and I already have plans for these spacers too. So let me sort of pull out what is going to go in my very first piece. I'm so excited to make this necklace. I'm going to be using the chain. I think I will be using this. Definitely will be using these in my first piece, and these. I think that I may add in some more when I get going on it, but it's going to be a necklace. So let me clean up my mat and come back, and let's get started making something. I have cleaned up my mat and I'm back. I've organized myself. And so I have, from our 8 millimeter London blue dyed agate strand, I have selected 2, 4, 6, 8. I pulled out the colors that I really like because this beautiful twist bead is going to be the focal on either side of my necklace. So I wanted these to coordinate with it. And then I've just sort of laid out a pattern, and I'm going to do a kind of a beaded chain, but they're going to be not individual beads in the middle. You'll see. And so I also pulled out some 20 gauge silver round German style wire for that. And I have our little spacer beads here. And I've decided to put some of these 4 millimeter crystals just for a little bit of sparkle, because I'm also going to need those to finish off the ends of my chain. So I also put at the ready a few of these little 4 millimeter jump rings. And then from my own supplies, I wanted 2 solid rings for where I'm going to attach the chain to my beaded section of my necklace. And so our curb chain that came in the box is quite small. And so I had to experiment a little bit with how this chain is going to get strung onto this ring. And I was able to work it out with those small jump rings. They go through the chain, and these jump rings slide nicely on my solid rings. These are not jump rings that can be opened. It's a solid circle ring. So this probably would work with a jump ring if you closed it really well, but I had these in my supplies, so I'm going to use those and put jump rings on the links of my chain. So let's get started with making these components. And I am going to use my one-step looper in 2 sizes, the 1.5 millimeter as well as the 3 millimeter. And I will show you why. I just dropped this one. And I will show you why I'm going to need both of them. So I am going to just cut a little bit of this wire so it doesn't hit the camera, and show you how I'm going to do these components. I'll start with my middle component on each side and just get a nice simple loop going. Nice straight wire. I like to warm it and straighten it out while it's still in the tool. And then I'm just going to feed on this pattern that I created with a bicone, one of these lovely silver rondelle spacers, one of the twist beads, another spacer, and a final bicone. And then, so that's what that center component is going to look like. So let me complete this one. And when you're using this one-step looper or anything, is when you're dealing with crystals, I always like to pull it back and make sure that the tool there is not going to damage my crystal. And so at this point, you know, I tend to fuss with things, but we're going to open these links. So they're going to get opened and closed, and then we can straighten them out. So that's the first link on that side. And then on the gemstone section, I am just going to do just the gemstone. I really like them just floating on the silver wire. So that is going to, I'm just going to make a simple beaded link with one of these 8mm beautiful gemstones for each. It's going to be really, really simple. So let's get those done. Okay, and now for the little component that is going to have just 3 of these spacers. I'm going to do something a little bit strange looking, but I want to use the 3mm one-step looper to make one end of this link, because that is the one that is going to attach to this ring. And then I'm just going to thread on 3. I love the look of these spacers just stacked. It's just really pretty and just adds a little something. And now I'm going to switch back to my 1.5mm link on this side. And so it's a little component that looks something like that. And that's going to go at the bottom there. And now I'm going to do another one of those components for this top section, but it doesn't need to have the larger loop because it's going to get connected to chain. So this side is going to have the 1.5mm simple loop on each end of this tiny little link. And that side of the necklace is ready to be connected. So let me finish this side and I will be back. I have connected one side, all of the little components that we just did together so you can see, and just remembering that I wanted that 3mm loop to be down here where I'm going to add in chain. And now I'm simply going to do the same thing on this side, this funny little component here with the stacked spacer, rondelle spacer beads. And so this is your chance if you are using that tool and you need to work harden or just close anything really well. Mine actually always look really good. I have good success with that tool. I mean, mine look really good, but this is, you have to open and close them anyway, so this is your chance to tidy anything up. And, you know, I just have to say, as I was connecting this, I was thinking, this is really just the old fashioned standby for me of a beaded chain, or sort of creating bead patterns and components. And it is just one of those classic things that I just go back to again and again. Maybe some of you are like that as well when you're creating. There are certain elements in design that you just love, and I tend to recycle them and reuse them over and over again. And so adding a bit of a beaded chain where I've created the pattern really is one of my favorite things to do. And, you know, sometimes I do the entire length of a necklace or bracelet. But in this case, I just really liked having a little section of featuring these beautiful gemstone beads. And so I did start to prepare my chain. I want to tidy this one up a little bit before I move on. I did start to prepare my chain a little bit because, as I said, I was experimenting with making sure that everything was going to fit. And so I have that, and I went ahead, and this is going to be my first swag. So maybe this is from my background in interior design, but this necklace kind of looks like those old-fashioned parlor draperies where you would have a swag and some cascades down the side of a window. So that is kind of the look of this. So let me go ahead and connect the bottoms of these, put the chain on, and connect this first swag, if you will, to the bottom of this necklace. I might not have, I have, these jump rings are quite thick. The gauge, they're not jump rings, the solid rings are quite thick. So I have to remember to open these small jump rings a little bit wider than I normally would. Okay, so now that first little swag is ready to go, and I'm going to, this is why I wanted that 3mm loop at the end, because of the thickness of my ring. So if you're using a different ring for this portion, you may be able to do all of your loops the exact same size, but I just don't want anything to not move freely, so I gave a little bit extra space in that loop. So I know it looks a little bit strange at this point, but that is going to be our first little swag. And so now I'm going to, I just, I always forget, but let me get my little girl tape measure in here and tell you, because I literally just chose a length that I liked. So it is around 2.5 inches for the first swag. And I am just going to do my second swag to be a little bit longer than that. So maybe right about there. And when you guys start to cut this chain, even though it's small and dainty, remember this is stainless steel cable. I have my junkier cutters and it is really hard to cut. So don't use your finer cutters when you go to cut this chain, because you will damage them. These are really like heavy duty, and I use them for thick things and older things, but they work well on this. But just a little warning, don't ruin your good cutters on this. And then I want a third swag that is going to be even a little bit longer. So let me stop and sort of tell you what my lengths ended up being. So this one ended up being about 3.25, and then I think I'll do this one at 4 inches. So right about there. Give that one a cut. How link went. So just to tell you again, this first link is 2.25, then I went up to 3.25, and then I went up to 4 inches. And I just chose that based on the way it looks. And now, because of the thickness of my jump rings, of my solid rings, I do need to put jump rings on this chain in order to feed it on. But if you have a skinnier or finer gauge ring there, you may not have to do that. You may be able to thread the chain right onto the ring. Just mine won't fit that way. So I hope you can see it as well, because I'm leaving it laying on the mat so that you can see where the design is going. But I'm just going to get those little rings in there, and then this is really not a difficult project. As I said, I have to remember to open these wider than I normally would because of the thickness of that ring. This is really not a difficult project, but you do want to keep things in order so that it's not a tangled mess as you work. So that's why I'm leaving it laying on the mat to do the connection. It sort of helps to see where you've been, where you're going, and make sure you don't have things crossed that aren't supposed to be crossed. This a little bit tight to get my pliers in there to close it up, but I know I can do it. help it along this way. There, I have a little bit better hold. Not a lot of space for pliers with that. So let me straighten up again. So easily things can get twisted. And then I'm going to do the same thing, another jump ring, and bring that little swag over to the other ring and make that connection. This is a really beautiful chain, really, really nice to work with. So I don't want to twist my chain. So let me lay it flat again. That looks good. Now maybe I have to open this one a bit more. Let's see if it will go. Yeah, I'm not used to opening small jump rings as wide as I need to for them to go onto this ring. So I'm having to go back. Pliers in there, tighten that up. And now we have 2 of them done. And now we'll just add that third one. So let me get this one connected and I will be right back and show you the next step. So all of my chains are connected, which is the beginning of my swag. And then in order to make it look like have that window treatment look where it had the swag and then the side cascades, I'm going to create the illusion of that as almost as if it were fabric draped through a ring by adding 3 more chains in a short, medium, and long length on the outer side of each one of these rings. So here again, I'm just going to eyeball it and come up with a measurement. I think I'll do right about there. And I do need to mirror both sides. So what I will do once I get these cut, this stainless steel chain, even though it's small, oh my, it's tough. My little piece that I needed did not stay on the work table. There, I have it. So I'm going to choose 3 different lengths. Just, if you can see what I'm doing, I'm just choosing, just eyeballing it, a small, medium, and long. And once I get them cut, I will take a little piece of wire and make an exact set for the other side. I have one right here. Already helped me. Okay, do one more. One more that's a bit longer. Go right about there. This chain is crazy strong. Oh my goodness, I can't get my, there, got it. Yeah, so as you can see, it is tough to cut, so be mindful that you don't harm your good cutters with this stainless steel chain. It fools you because it's so petite and it looks like it would be delicate, but it absolutely is not. So now I need to mirror the other side of my necklace. So I'm just going to take my shorter piece on this little piece of wire, and this way I don't have to count links, and just find the same spot and cut it there if I can. Oh my, it's difficult to cut. My short one done for each side. I have my medium one done for each side, and now I have to duplicate this longer one, and I will be finished cutting for this part. Yeah, it really tricks the eye because it's so fine, and even the opening of each link is quite small, but it is a strong stainless steel chain. Okay, let's see, right there. Okay, I was able to finally get my 3 links. So if you can see, I have a short on each side, a medium, and a long, and now I'm going to repeat the same thing that I did for the swag part of this, to remember to open this jump ring nice and wide and attach the short chain first. And here again is where, if you leave your piece laying flat on your mat, it's easy not to get things twisted or get lost in the order in which you need to string them on. So to have that side cascade look, the short one needs to be strung on the outside of the swag, if that makes sense. I've opened this jump ring quite wide, but the thickness of this ring, there, I got it. Just want to make sure that it's closed really well. It definitely would not come off of my thick ring, but the chain could come off. So as you can see, it's starting to create that draped look, that swag and side cascade look. So I might have to give this necklace a home decor title, window treatment necklace or something silly. But it's just the way that I see it because of my years of making window treatments, sketching them and placing them across the tops of windows. And I find that if you guys did not see my home decor project that I did with Curated Bead Box, I did some beautiful napkin rings with techniques that we use in jewelry, stretch bracelet technique, a bow making technique on wire. And so I do find that a lot, just like this. I find that a lot of the jewelry techniques and tools and designs, they transfer over to other things. I think I am going to have to open that one a little bit more and sort of get my pliers out of the way. Now you can see I have that little bit of a drapery swag look going. So I am going to repeat the same thing with the short, medium, and longer one on a jump ring on that side, and I'll be back. We're going to make some little tiny individual components with these crystal drops to go on the ends of the chain, which is why I included them in one of my components here, just so that the elements of the necklace repeat. And honestly, you could leave the chains just plain as a swag. I just don't like to see the raw ends of a chain. I always feel like I need to put something there. So these little sparkling AB coated bicones are perfect to give this a nice finished look, especially since this is the middle of the necklace. So let me finish this side and I will be right back and we'll finish the back of the necklace together. So I had planned to make my own head pins, but then I remembered that I had ordered from Beadbox Bargains, from the Bargain Beadbox sister site some time ago. They had a sale on stainless steel, and I had ordered a pretty large quantity of stainless steel ball head pins, and they just match the chain so well. So I do not know if they still have these on their website, but it was a 50-piece 21 gauge stainless steel ball head pin for $249, and I think it was an additional, I cannot remember what the sale was because I've had them for a long time, but I just remembered that I had them and how nice that looks. So I know this is still laying on my mat, but I have added a little crystal with a ball head pin to the bottom of each one of those side cascades on my necklace. So let me do the last one with you. it is stainless steel. So for me, my one-step looper really comes in handy because of the arthritis in my hand, especially when I'm working with stainless steel. It really helps me. So I just backed off. I don't know if you can see, but I just backed off because it's a crystal and I don't mind having a little bit of this showing there. And so while it's in the tool, I just bent it back a little bit. So I'm kind of centered that loop. And that one wasn't perfectly straight, but that's totally okay because I'm going to open it anyway and add it to my last length of chain here. Let's get it straightened out. And so as I said, you do not have to put anything. If you're doing this, you don't have to put anything on these outer pieces of chain. Just for me, I just don't like to see bare chain, just, the end of the chain without something on it. I just always feel it's unfinished. So I added those little crystals and they look really nice. They give a nice sparkle to the piece. And that's also why I told you earlier, I try to pay attention to my design elements and have it repeat and have it cohesive when I'm creating a pattern. So I put this around my neck, and I do not like really short necklaces, but I think that I am simply going to take off a little piece of this, which I am kind of stealing because I want to make a pair of earrings with this stainless steel chain. So I'm going to do one more cut on this and save this little small length for a pair of earrings. And then I'm going to get my wire in here again and find the middle of the section that I have left. And that is going to be how I finish off the back of this necklace. So let me see. Right about that link right there. I do not feel sad about being finished cutting this chain because it is really tough on my hands. That time it wasn't too bad. Okay, and now I have extras of these little jump rings. And so I think actually that I don't need a jump ring. Let me see if it will. I think it will fit on my loop here at the top. I think I can do this. Let me clean some of these things away so that it'll be easier to see. So let me turn this. I am right hand dominant, so I always have to turn things. Let me see if that will thread right onto my wire. If it will, then I don't need a jump ring here. Get that little stack of beads out of the way. It does. It fits right there. As I said, that chain is deceiving because it looks quite petite, but then it's really strong. Okay, and then do this side the exact same way. Open that little loop. It's so pretty having the little stack of spacer beads just floating by themselves, but you do have to sort of move them out of your way for this part because they're wobbly on that when you open the loop. Close it really well. Now I want to make sure everything is looking the way I want it, nice and straight. Sorry, I'm out of the camera. I know it's frustrating when you can't see, but sometimes the camera is just very much in the way of the work. So I like the way it's looking a lot. So I love this little toggle clasp for this. And so now it's just a simple matter of attaching the toggle. to the ends of the chain. And this necklace is finished. This was really fun, and this is a very easy project. If you can open and close a jump ring and make a simple loop, you can do this project. This is like your most basic tools, most basic jewelry skills, and this necklace does not look that basic. When it's finished, it looks elegant and very, a lot more difficult than it is. Actually, I find that with a lot of jewelry pieces that they're a lot more simple than they appear when you're looking at the finished product. I hope that this was really inspiring for you, especially if you were somebody who didn't have ideas when you received your December bargain bead box. And so I hope you'll give this project a try. As I say, it's totally beginner friendly. And I know it's difficult to see how beautiful it will hang laying on my mat, but I'll put some pictures up and put it on my little mannequin for you with photos. And then I have set aside some other beads from the box to do another project. So look for that video. I'll get that to you as soon as possible. And so I just want to say thank you for watching today. I hope everybody's safe and warm this winter and having fun on their beading mats. And I will see you in the next video. Ciao, jewelry makers.